Hey everybody, Arnaldo here broadcasting from Fidelio's Frequency. Welcome to my channel. Today we are taking a road trip down to the city of brotherly love, and we are in Philadelphia, and we're here to check out the first ever VinylCon. So let's go record shopping. So I hope you enjoyed the video footage that I shot and all the flip through videos. I tried to give you a little bit of a flavor of the dealers and what they were offering there at the VinylCon. But now let me give you my thoughts and let me tell you a little bit about my experience with this first ever VinylCon, the VinylCon organized in Philadelphia over the course of last weekend, which was April 27th and 28th. Sponsored by Vinyl Me Please. There were also tables set up at the beginning of the hall from VPI. Discogs, as soon as you walked in, had a huge table with thousands of these reusable totes, canvas totes. Women in Music was also present, and I believe a radio from Philadelphia, WXPN. I did not see, at least on Saturday, the day that I went, any type of a stand or table for Vinyl Me Please. So if someone else saw it, I may have missed it, or saw it on Sunday, please let me know in the comments below. The VinylCon, like I said, took place over the course of 2 days, and it started earlier on Saturday. Actually, there was an early admission ticket from, I believe, from 10 o'clock to noon, and that was my initial plan because I enjoy browsing with a little bit more time and in less crowded areas. My initial plan was to buy the early bird ticket, but unfortunately I slept on it a little too long, and on Friday afternoon when I went to purchase the early bird, they were already sold out. I learned afterwards that while I was standing in line the following day, that there were about 300 of those passes that sold out. So it was actually pretty well attended in the first part, in the early bird section. So I was left only with the general admission for Saturday, which was cost of $8. I believe the early bird was $25. This is if you pre-purchased it, obviously. And entry at noon all the way. And I stayed, I think the fair went until like 5. I left around 4 o'clock, and it was very well attended. It was, I don't want to say packed, that you couldn't move around, but it was fairly difficult to get to some of the vendor tables because they were probably the more affordable records, and they were constantly being occupied. The space to flip through was constantly being taken up. So I did have to wait in line or browse to the next table and then come back until I had the chance to look at some of the vendor tables. I highly suggest, if they do another VinylCon, jump in on the early bird ticket. Actually, the following day, on Sunday, which is a day that I originally excluded from going there, was general admission, general free admission. So I would think that on Sunday it was even more crowded and even better attended. But I can't complain. I think it was a good amount of crowd on the Saturday. What else to say? I thought it was very well organized. The other big fair that I went to, and it was just probably 6 months ago, the WFMU fair in New York. Very, probably the second largest record fair in the United States. I've not been to Austin, which is actually happening this weekend, but I understand the Austin Record Fair is probably one of the biggest ones in the United States. So compared to the WFMU, at least the last one that I went to, I believe it was pretty well, or probably better organized. My first pet peeve with the WFMU, and you probably saw it in my video that I did quite a while ago, was that there was no re-entry. You had a digital ticket, I believe. I don't think you got a bracelet, but you could not re-enter. Once you left the venue, you couldn't come back. And that was a bummer because there were I think maybe there was one food truck for the event in WFMU, and there weren't that many food choices close by. But even if there were, once you left the venue, you could not re-enter. The VinylCon thought about that and provided everyone with bracelets so you could re-enter. But it wasn't even necessary to exit to get food or for a break, because there were quite a few food options within the area of the 23rd Street Armory, where it was taking place. In addition to food, there was also, it's called live entertainment. There was a live DJ set that was spinning all day, and yeah, I guess that kind of sums it up. So thumbs up
for the organizational point of view. Now let me talk about what was offered there. There were about, I want to say 70 plus, a little over 70. I counted the dealer list, but some may have dropped off and some may have come only one day, but it was around 71 vendors. So compared to the WFMU fair, it's probably half the size. And judging by the venue space, yes, it was much smaller than WFMU. But there was a nice blend of vendors. You had some $5 bins. You had a couple of vendors that were selling everything at $20. Then you had the heavy hitters. There were very expensive records, some maybe a little overpriced, expensive rare records that were fairly priced because typically that's the market rate for some of these records. So I wasn't too surprised to see very high prices for some records, and you probably saw them in the flip video as well. So all in all, I had a great experience. I definitely would love to return. I heard a rumor that maybe they're thinking of doing it twice a year, if not, probably again next year. And let me show you what I picked up. I didn't pick up anything too expensive and anything that was too rare. And actually, I picked up more kind of like upgrade, or let's call them upgrade copies. Starting off with something I actually bought over Record Store Day because every time I came across a copy in the used bins here in the New York area, it was always maybe a little on the pricier side, or at least more than what I'd want to pay for the record, and never in great condition. So I opted to get the repress, which came out during Record Store Day, of the Sparks album. And lo and behold, a week later, I actually find it at a very good price in Philadelphia. This is a first US pressing and excellent shape. Looks like it was never played. So I guess I'll compare it. Actually, this is the front of the album cover. I guess I'll compare it to my recently acquired one, the RSD copy, and see which one is better, and maybe I'll sell one off. So that was a Sparks #1 in Heaven. This is their disco, call it disco, electro disco album, produced by Giorgio Moroder. It's kind of like a blueprint for a lot of the 80s electronic and dance and disco bands of the time. Then another copy, I actually found the first pressing, and with the inner sleeve, the repress that I had, even though it was a late 70s repress, didn't have the inner sleeve, different labels, and the cover was slightly different, of Heart Attack and Vine by Tom Waits. Also, I believe this was in a at a vendor that had everything at $20, so it was a very fair price. And yeah, it comes with the inner sleeve and the original Asylum label. And finally, you probably all know from my channel, if you watch, that I'm a huge Smiths fan. I have a pretty extensive collection. I can't say that I am probably the biggest Smiths collector. There's actually, stay tuned. There may be a video coming up on my channel with one of the largest Smiths collectors ever that I have ever met. But in trying to make my Smiths collection even more so complete, I started off originally with all UK copies of the album pressings, so I'm slowly now going towards finding the US copies, and I came across at the great price, excellent condition, looks like it was hardly played, The Queen is Dead. This is a US pressing on the Sire label. Doesn't have the original labels, but in the US it came out with the Sire, the Sire yellow label, and whereas the UK pressing has the green label. And the inner sleeve does come with the inner sleeve, but it's more of a flimsy cardstock instead of a heavy cardstock and glossy of the UK. But this will be a very interesting comparison for me. I've never heard a US version. I've always been used to hearing the UK version, so I'll look to compare. And in any case, I'll keep this because it's part of my Smiths collection. My aim is to try at least to get US versions and UK versions of all of them. So this checked off another box for me. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I gave you a flavor and an overview of the VinylCon, first ever VinylCon in Philadelphia. And I guess that sums it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would highly appreciate if you leave your comments. If you did go to the VinylCon and you had a different experience than mine, or you want to share some things that I may have missed, please do so in the comments. I'd also like to know about that, and maybe I think others will too. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it really helps us a lot to grow and bring you more videos. So please consider hitting that subscription button. And that's it for now, and I will see you on the next one.